Hey, Gabriel,
Hey, Gaybros, Jose.
where are we today?
I'm in San Francisco. Where are
And
you?
I'm in Chicago.
But we do have some plans to be together in the near future.
Exactly, a couple of weeks, yeah, only 3 weeks. I'm going to be spending a week there. So I
Why?
expect,
Why are you coming out here?
because our original, how do you say, like point in common, like the first like point in common is coming back to the States, and we are actually going to celebrate her. That is Bjork.
So, I know I've told the story a million times, but 8 years ago, we met at a Bjork show. And so now we're going to another Bjork show.
Now in San Francisco without me living there, because the previous one was in Richmond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So glad we didn't die.
Yeah, but that was like a pretty cool venue.
Super cool. Just getting there was kind of a nightmare. We should have rented a car.
No, but I think that actually they had at the end of the concert they had like ferries to just get back to San Francisco, if I recall correctly. We didn't take it or anything, but it was like some kind of thing that you could have gotten to.
Oh, interesting. Well,
Yeah.
I'm very excited to have you here, and we'll be recording in person.
I hope so. Yeah, but in any case, there was a.
Maybe Trader Sam's.
I hope so. I really hope so. I wouldn't forgive myself if I were back to San Francisco and didn't go to Trader Sam. But meanwhile, what did we watch this time?
We watched the latest film from one of our mutual favorite directors of all time, Paul
I think that you're
Verhoeven.
stretching it already.
I love Paul Verhoeven. Benedetta, released in 2021. We both saw it shortly before Christmas, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, some weeks ago. And the fun, surely, yeah, like a week before, I think. But I realizing right now that we have at least 3 movies that we had talked about from Paul Verhoeven. This is the third one.
L?
And Showgirls.
Oh, yeah, Showgirls. So at the end of this podcast, we'll be ranking those 3 films.
Just hang in there, faithful listener. You're in for a treat. So why did you pick this?
I picked this because, all joking aside, I do find Paul Verhoeven interesting. It's kind of like Lars von Trier, not as like significant, but I do find like sometimes it's a complete hit and a miss. Sometimes it's completely compelling for me. And this had extremely good reviews, and I just decided to see it on a whim. And then I texted you afterwards, I think, and I was like, hey, I know it's Paul Verhoeven, but this is actually a good movie. Not to spoil my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I went to watch it. I fell for it. So, as this was your pick, I guess that I had to summarize. And this is the story, on what century is it? Like 18th century?
17th century.
17th, okay, because it's with the plague and everything. In Italy or no, France? In Italy is okay. Okay. As Charlotte Ramping is there, I never know exactly what country is it going to be. So it's the story of a young girl that goes to a convent with her parents, and clearly she has some kind of connection with God. That they are like some thieves that they're trying to assault them, and she basically talks with God, and a pigeon poops on the assaultant, on the thief, and they just go away. And it's clear that she's a chosen one. And then there is a fast forward. It's like she gets like a strip when she gets to the convent. She gets a strip of all her earthly possessions, you know, like a figure of a virgin, her clothes, blah blah blah. And when they are, how do you say this in English, like ordinance, when they become from novice to real nuns?
I was never Catholic, so I don't know, but like she basically gets promoted.
Exactly. When she's going to be like getting promoted, she basically sees God in a very highly erotic, you know, like image. That is like probably the first time that you see is like, this is going to be a fairly sacrilegious story.
And that is the one word I would choose to describe this film.
Yep, it's sacrilegious. It's like if you are a Catholic, you're going to feel partially offended by it. I was raised as a Catholic and not like a practitioner Catholic or a believer, and it was like, wow, this really wants to draw.
I do want to call out that this is based on real events. Benedetta existed in real life. I understand it more like the Coen brothers based on a true story, but more so than the Coen brothers when they say it.
Okay. So let's just keep going forward. A bit after that, it's like Benedetta's parents go to visit her, and while they are visiting, is that they decide to give protection to a woman that was about to be killed by her father, and they pay for her to actually just join the convent, because back then, it's like, funny enough, it's like people would need to pay for their kids to get into the convent.
I never knew that. There's this line where the young girl who's going to be killed, she wants to join, and Charlotte Rampling is like, this isn't a charity, it costs money to join us. And I was like, how do people not see this as a business? I don't get it.
It was a business, I mean, but if in case, if you think about it, it's almost like a boarding school. It's like if you're going to be like just living there, you're going to be like paying for your, I don't know, like what you need to survive, no?
Yeah, but also you're like, you're giving all of your time, the rest of your life, all of your labor. It's all given to this place.
Well, yeah. And if your labor was enough for just paying for your living, but is they probably doing like cookies and scarves are not going to be enough for just paying for living anywhere.
And I got the impression, at least at this convent, I'm not familiar how they were run back then. The nuns didn't exactly do a lot of work beyond just like praying and singing. Yeah. Usually,
I mean, for example, in Spain, like convents would do like some kind of product. It's like some of them would do cookies, other ones could do like some kind of textile, and they would specialize on it.
Like craft that they made and sold.
Yeah. And talking about craft. So the story progresses. Charlotte Ramping is like the superior mother in the convent. And at some point, people start thinking that Benedetta can really talk with God. And they start like looking up to her, like some kind of chosen one that is going to be like just driving them to a splendor moment and protecting from the plague that is just eradicating everything around. And they didn't have any case, everything was closed, no risk. So for random reasons, is that basically the superior mother gets replaced by Benedetta, and she starts having like some kind of incest, well, it's not incest, some kind of relationship, like not appropriate relationship with the new woman that they adopted into the convent.
An extremely sexual lesbian relationship that was also extremely sacrilegious.
Yep. Well, it's extremely sacrilegious because if we go back to when she actually arrived and she got a strip of all her early possessions, one of them was like the figure of a virgin. So they decide to repurpose that figure of the virgin, that Buddha-made figure of the virgin, into a dildo. But they keep like the upper part. They keep the upper part of the virgin, and the bottom part is a penis.
Yep.
And at that point, I just didn't even know how to react. It's like, okay, I see that you have been like trolling up to this point. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say. I'm speechless for the rest of the movie. So they start like playing with that, and then like some of the nuns start like suspecting that there is some kind of foul play, and maybe Benedetta is not the chosen one by God, and something is going on there. And then Charlotte Ramping leaves like the city, and she goes to Rome. Let's say, I mean, it's not really Rome.
Yeah,
but she goes
like a larger city where there's like a bishop or something.
Exactly, a bishop or a cardinal, and she talks with them, and she actually asks them. Oh, she does that because her daughter, that it was also a nun, commits suicide.
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten that.
But I don't remember what was the reason why she committed suicide. Why she went insane. Oh, I remember, because she actually was betrayed by the mother. because he actually knew that Benedetta is not who you think she is, and actually the superior mother, says, I won't support you on that. And then when she actually makes the accusations publicly, is that the superior mother doesn't support her. And then she actually gets like panics and everything. And then when she actually commits suicide, Charlotte Ramping steps down from being the superior mother, and Benedetta is promoted again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and Charlotte Ramping at the end is like goes to just get this bishop or cardinal, and when she comes back with him, is like basically brings the plague with them, and they start dying. There is like a lot of drama.
No, I mean, if you read about the story, and at the before the credits roll, they say the plague never came to Pescia, ever. Nobody ever died from the plague in the city.
But before actually Charlotte Ramping left, no?
She left, but then Benedetta demanded that nobody come in or out of the city. So when they're coming back outside of the city, they pass all these people dying, but apparently the plague never came into the city, as Benedetta promised.
Okay, but for the story, for the movie that we did watch, is that they actually force their way into the city, but they're carrying them.
Yeah, that's true. The bishop ends up.
Yep. So they basically torture and break the lover, Benedetta's lover. They find the dildo, and they're going to be like just burning her as a heathen, and then basically chaos ensues, and Charlotte Ramping and Benedetta, I don't remember the name of the actress, is that they partner up for just doing like some kind of vengeance against the bishop, and Benedetta and the other and her lover run away. And then Benedetta,
people believe that Benedetta is this like savior figure, and so they go after the bishop. Yeah.
It convinced them that it's like, hey, I'm really like the chosen by God. And then when they're away, and the lover just is like, just run away, let's just have our lives. It's like, no, I have to go back. My people need me. And she comes back.
Like naked, right?
Yeah, and she goes back naked. Yeah, why not?
Man.
Yep, Paul Verhoeven indeed. The end.
Yeah, I think you did a very good job of giving a synopsis of this film. And it's quite a long film. It's like 2.5 hours, right?
I would say that it's like, it doesn't feel like 2 hours and a half. It's like so sacrilegious, so much stuff like happens that it doesn't feel like it has like too much fat in it.
I felt one of the reasons I felt comfortable recommending this to you was because regardless of whether or not you think it's a great film, or not you specifically, like a viewer thinks it's a great film, it's compelling. It's like entertaining, and it's interesting, and there's enough I don't want to say sex, but like there's like sex, and there's politics, and Benedetta has these religious visions of Jesus as her boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's the message, that nuns are Jesus' wives.
Yeah.
So he actually sexualizes that. He actually just take it to the extreme about like, what about if this nun is having these raptures of just imagining God as this hunk that is her wife, her husband, you know?
Yep.
And then they do a dildo out of a wooden Mary Virgin figure.
So my husband doesn't listen to the podcast, so I can tell the story, but he's currently in Argentina with his much older parents who are extremely religious, and
they're going to watch Benedetta?
Well, they've been getting into these polemics about religion, and my husband's an atheist, and so he called me super upset one night, and I was like, just sit him down and watch Benedetta.
But I mean, the thing is that's not going to be like changing anyone's fate, you know?
Yeah, no, you can't have a rational conversation with an irrational person.
The thing with Verhoeven, if we actually talk about like the 3 movies that we watched by him, is that he uses sex as a way of provoking some kind of reaction on the audience.
Or he tries.
Okay, but it's like, for him, it's a tool. It's a narrative tool. It's a vehicle at the end is like whatever feeling he wants to do. Is that it can be like the sexy scene with Kyle MacLachlan in Soccer. Yeah, it can be like the rapist scene. Yeah, it can be like the rapist scene in Elle, or even like the blowjob in The Office, you know. Or here is the dildo.
And Hollow Man, which we haven't discussed on this podcast, but there's quite a lot of rape as the Invisible Man. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at his IMDb page to see what else we both might have seen. That may be it. I've never seen Basic Instinct, Total Recall, RoboCop.
Oh, you didn't?
I haven't seen any of those.
I mean, Total Recall doesn't have like too much sex. It has like a woman with 3 tits.
Well, why haven't we watched that yet?
Because she's a woman.
But she has dicks or tits?
Tits. I'm sorry, man. Yeah.
Dang it. It was the other one.
This is your channel. But no, for him, I think that he knows like the audience. You know, he knows that, for example, like the American audience, they're going to feel provoked in very specific ways by the high content in sex. But Europeans will react in a slightly different way.
But I agree with you that Americans are, from what I understand, more puritanical when it comes to sex than Europeans. But wouldn't Europeans who skew more Catholic, at least Western Europe?
Yeah, but just think that he uses sex like mixed up with something else, you know? Yeah. That is like rape, or in this case, it's a sacrilegous image.
Yeah.
But he uses sex as a bit more of a, everyone can relate to sex. You know, we are here because of sex. So
do you think that one of the things he was trying to show was that, like, hey, everybody has sex, it's normal, and this Catholic Church trying to repress everyone when clearly the people in charge are corrupt as hell?
Charlotte Rampling was not corrupt.
You think that she genuinely was like a humble wife of Christ when she's being restrained and she calls her a fucking whore and a lying prostitute, screaming that in front of the entire convent?
No, I think that she was a businesswoman, and I think that she truly believed.
But isn't that corrupting religion?
You what?
Isn't that corrupting religion to turn religion into a business?
No, I don't think that, because I think that all the money just remain in the convent, you know, for actually just light their lives.
Well, then the bishop was absolutely portrayed as maybe not corrupt, just taking advantage of the wealth of the church, not to have to care for the poor. Like, it was pretty clear that he was draped in those elegant robes, sitting in his beautiful office, and then just completely denying any compassion to anybody poor or sick.
But did you think that?
In my opinion, as an American who's never been Catholic, he was deliberately trying to show that the Catholic Church is a fraud. It's not my opinion. I think that's what he was trying to show.
I mean, I'm not completely sure if he actually just was aiming for something as high, you know? I think that he was just portraying this woman that is she really talking with God? Is she the chosen one? And are we going to be judging her more or less because she actually has early instincts? You know, it's where do you draw the line about what is holy and what is sacrilegious?
I don't know. I think the fact that Benedetta was so easily able to sway the beliefs of everybody, I can't help but the fact that she could take a piece of glass and cut her hands and claim that she was having dogmata. I mean, that to and all the Catholics were oh my gosh, this is our savior. I think.
But just think that is the 17th century. We said people wanted to believe on that kind of stuff. It's they thought that it was possible.
I know they did. I'm not saying that they didn't. I'm saying what he was trying to show was how easily those sheep were led, and the Catholic Church was doing that.
Well, not the Catholic Church. It was her, the one that she was doing that.
Yeah, but she was also promoted to the highest rank in this convent, just like I'm sure he was drawing a metaphor to the Vatican.
Sure. So you were saying, so who is more guilty in this case, Charlotte Rampling for being a businesswoman, or Benedetta for actually knowing like what the system is going to be rewarding and just playing that.
They're probably both equally as guilty.
Okay. But from my perspective, it's a bit more about like, look, religion has these problems, and I'm not trying to just like save face for, you know, like the Catholic Church, but at the same time, it's like first there is like the time when this took place, you know, the society how it was back then, and second is like there is no party here that is free of guilt. I think that the one that is like more free of guilt, it would be like Charlotte Ramping.
I don't know. I saw the cardinal or the bishop. I don't remember which. I saw him as the embodiment of evil.
Why? Because he had money, he had a status.
He had all of that money. He showed a complete lack of empathy or compassion for anyone. He came to town and literally had these women tortured in the most incredibly vile ways. And then Charlotte Rampling basically, like Judas, turned her back on her beloved. So.
No, Charlotte Rampling turned her back on the cardinal at the end.
No, on her daughter is what I'm saying. She should have like supported her daughter. Instead, she just rejected.
Oh yeah. There is like religious stuff, you know. No, it was not Judas. You were thinking about St. Peter, like the one that denies God like 3 times.
That was Judas, man.
No, Judas is the one that gives up God.
What? Judas.
One of the apostles is like the one that actually denies God. That is like, hey, I think that you were like just related with this guy. Like, no, I don't know this guy. He's like, are you sure? Like, no, I've never seen it. And then it's like the roster sings, and he says, I told you that you would deny me 3 times before the roster sings.
Yeah, you're right. It's Peter. Also, it's a very common Google term, who denied Jesus 3 times. I didn't have to type the whole thing. So.
Yeah. Told you, man. I was raised Catholic. So it's like, it does that. That is like, hey, I'm not going. But at least Charlotte Ramping is from the beginning. It says that I'm not going to support you. Don't say anything. It's that I'm thinking about like the congregation. Is that this is not going to help the congregation. Don't do it. And she still does it.
So I will say that we drove away from the movie theater, my husband and I obviously were talking about the film, and I said, look, I don't know if I liked this movie or not yet, but I think Benedetta was better than anything else playing in that movie theater, only because like it made me think, and look, we're having complete different perspectives on all the characters and what it meant. I do think there's a lot here to unpack and interpret and a lot to think about, which for me is the best kind of film. I'm not saying this is the best film, but like on Sunday, a few days ago, I went and saw The King's Man. I didn't think about that. No. You cannot compare both things, man. I mean, this is an ANC artisan film, okay? So are you saying that this is way better than The King's Man?
I haven't watched The King's Man, but I don't have to watch it, man. I mean, that's an action film. It's not something that is going to be like telling you a story. It's going to be like just sending you like waves to your brain so you don't have to think. You cannot compare those two. Even right, this is, I don't think this is an amazing movie. You know, I think that is a good movie. You know,
okay.
I think
then let's say Infomaniac Volume 2. I didn't think about that movie after I left it. I didn't.
You thought about like the 2 flapping big black dicks.
Absolutely. Many times.
And that's it.
But I was never like, what was what's her name?
The woman. Crap, yeah, I forgot it. Yeah.
Melancholia. Anyway, I never thought like, who was she as a person? Like, what was her intent here? Was she really an infant? You know, like I just.
Charles Gainsbourg.
Yes. So anyway, for me, that was a selling point, and the fact that we wanted to record it. So, tell me this. Are you glad, regardless of whether or not you like the film, are you glad I recommended it to you, or would you rather have just not said anything?
No, I found it interesting. I found it, look, I was talking with my boyfriend yesterday, and we said, hey, the last week before we went back to our respective house, we had some time. We went to watch a movie, and we had to decide. The options were West Side Story and Benedetta. And it's like, we go with Benedetta because at least it's like we knew that it was going to be interesting. Is it that doesn't mean that it's going to be good or bad, but it's like at least it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
West Side Story is like I know that it's going to be entertaining. I already watched like several times the original one, you know.
So you ended up seeing both.
No, I haven't watched. I haven't watched West Side Story yet.
Oh, I thought you did. Got it.
No, we're going probably this weekend.
Damn it! I wanted you to tell me which one was better, Steven Spielberg or Paul Verhoeven.
Okay, that's a hard question, man. Did you watch West Side Story?
No, and I will not.
But you told me that you almost went to watch it because it was like in several lists of the best of the year.
Yes, and it has fantastic reviews. Musicals are not my thing. I just have no interest. If I was like 10 years ago when I was seeing absolutely everything that was considered important during award season, I would have watched it 100%. Now it's like I go to the movies maybe twice a month, and that is not going to be West Side Story.
Okay. No, that's fair. I mean, I tend to watch as much as possible. And I will still watch it. I don't think that it will be great, but why not? What is the worst that can happen?
So should we answer the questions? Oh no, let's rate Elle, Showgirls, and Benedetta in order of our favorites first. Just favorites, not good.
Just favorites, no like okay, no good or bad. Okay. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start. It's LLL.
Of course.
No, honestly, I would say Elle. I've seen it a couple times. And then honestly, I'd probably say Benedetta and then Showgirls. But I love Showgirls and I've seen it like several times. It's not like I hate that movie. I mean, it's a bad movie, but like... But
it's super enjoyable. It's so stupid that it's... Okay, that's the same rating as me. And it's exactly the same reasoning. That is like, okay, this was engaging, this movie. But it doesn't have the gravitas
of Elle?
No, of Showgirls. You were saying about like you leave the cinema and you cannot stop thinking about the movie. It's like I left like 20 years ago. I don't remember like where I watched Showgirls the first time, but it's like I haven't stopped thinking about it. It's like so bad that I cannot believe it. You know, it's like my brain is still like just focused like it's Versailles. Or it's like you never know when a younger girl is going to be like going down the stairs behind you.
And like while I enjoy the film, I'm not able to quote it. Not even like
not yet. Maybe we should rewatch it.
When you're here, we'll watch it.
I would take like one of my Blu-ray copies with me. Don't worry. But yeah, no. I mean, I don't. If I think about like how good they are, I would say like Showgirls, Elle, Benedetta. I think that this is better than Elle.
Wait, Showgirls, your favorite?
It's the worst. No, but I mean like if we talk about quality.
Yeah, but we're just talking about favorites.
Yeah. And I'm saying I have the same rating as you. It's like Elle, Benedetta, Showgirls.
Got it.
Yeah, but if we talk about quality, I would say like Showgirls, Elle, Benedetta.
Yeah, I think Benedetta is there's a lot of high quality content there, in my opinion. An excellent acting. Charlotte Rampling is incredible. I don't know the woman who plays Benedetta. I don't know that actress, but I thought she was remarkable. I expect that we'll see more of her if you haven't already.
Virginia Fira. Let me just check. She did It's Boy, Sibylla for Love. Yeah, nothing that I've seen. Sorry. Since that be waiting for Bojangles, Louis, Madeline Collins, Benedetta, Bye Morris, Nice see we get going. No, this is the only one that I know. Elle. The daughter, maybe? She had a daughter, no? Oh no, he had a son.
I think she had a son.
Oh, is the wife of the neighbor.
Yes, that's right. That scene.
That last scene is pretty good. Yeah, that's like Isabel Huppert is like always amazing, but on that scene is like, no, actually the wife is better.
So I do want to call out that this film was nominated for the Palme d'Or. It was also nominated by the Chicago Indie Critics Awards for Best Foreign Language Film.
Who won the Palme d'Or this year? Was it Lamb?
It was Hero. A Hero. Or just Hero.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. I really like the movie. I think that is like I wouldn't be surprised if it won like a lot of awards.
Well, should we go through the questions?
Yeah, let's do it. I think that we cannot get much more out of this. So, would you watch it again?
100%. I plan on watching it again.
Like what, today, after we're done with this?
No, maybe in a year. I don't need to wait 5 years for this one. I want to revisit it, and sometimes I walk out of a movie and I have this inflated sense of what it was. So I want to rewatch it and be like, was this as good as I thought? Because I do think it's good.
For me, this is a no. Not that there is anything wrong with it, but it's like I felt so upset. I still think that actually like the part with the virgin turning into a dildo is just shock value. Is that maybe that's part of something that they found about Benedetta later on, but it's like I just feel that look, you just want to provoke the audience. It's like I don't need this, is that the rest of the story is fine, but it's like why did you go so far into this?
So let me ask you, if you found out that was part of the actual story, the true story that happened, would that change things for you?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, not really. It's like it's something that I feel is that look, you use like the same image, the same figure that she was carrying with her. As if from that perspective is that you're telling me that is like a gesture of betraying her childhood or like corruption of her childhood. You just feel about like, okay, I don't know if you're trying to have like a higher message here or you're just trolling me.
According to the Wikipedia article of the real Benedetta, apparently they only had sex while Benedetta was possessed by the spirit of a male demon known as Splenditello.
Of course, there was more to it. Of course.
That's not in the movie. It's just two lesbians, but apparently
Exactly.
in real life there was a male demon.
Yeah. But yeah, the idea of actually turning that into a dildo is like no. Because the thing is like if you actually go with possessions and the like, it's a bit more, it's like, okay, she's crazy.
They
But-
hint at it a couple times where her
That she's
voice-
crazy.
No.
Yeah. That she's possessed, yeah. But I mean, that possession is almost like God. Like Jesus talking through his mouth. Like
Yeah,
about
I
like
see.
you are, yeah. That it could be a demon, but maybe not. But the thing is like it's 17th century, could be anything.
When Charlotte Rampling's daughter is accusing her of everything, her voice goes super deep and she starts to scream heretic or whatever.
Yeah.
Blasphemer is what she said.
Yeah. Would you recommend it?
I recommended it to you, so yes.
Would you recommend it to anyone else besides me?
Yeah, even my mom, she would hate it, but I think it's a good film, and you might find the material objectionable, but that's not on me.
Oh no! I'm not blaming you or anything. But for me, it was a bit more when I was watching. It's like, would I recommend this to my parents? And when the dildo came out, it's like, definitely not. If there is a movie that I would never recommend to my parents, it's this one.
Interesting.
Yep.
I feel like we should start ranking.
No, because this actually has like a lot of sex, a lot of nudity, and it also has like a wouldn't Mary Virgin turn into a dildo. It's like if there are like three things that my parents would actually just feel uncomfortable with, they are those.
The three things. All right.
Yeah. And I spoiled it, but I was thinking about like getting you for Christmas as a gift, like a pocket knife and a wooden image of Mary Virgin. And just sending like the message about like just like the note for the birthday, like DIY.
That would have been hilarious.
But when I told you, you told me, it's like, why? And it's like, I just watched Benedetta. You recommended me Benedetta. You should remember this.
I should remember what? The dildo?
Yeah, I mean, because when I told you about it, you didn't remember it. I actually had to explain that, hey, this is from Benedetta.
I must have been confused because I'm very aware of the dildo because it's the entire way that Benedetta gets caught. I mean, it's a major plot point.
Yeah. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Let's just move on. Would you remember it?
I'm gonna forget the details. It's a long movie. It's compelling. There's a lot packed in there. Like you said, there's not a lot of fat. It's all kind of heavy-ish content. So I'm not gonna remember basically anything besides it's about lesbian nuns.
Okay, so no.
No, yeah, the answer is no.
Okay, my answer is yes. Yes, from the perspective that we watched this like a month ago, and I was thinking, oh my god, I need to summarize this. I'm not going to remember anything. And when I started like pulling from the thread, I was surprised that I remember so much stuff.
Yeah, you actually surprised me with some of the like plot points you remember that I forgot.
Yeah. I mean, there is other stuff, you know, like the other nun that dies there, and basically Benedetta takes care. Yeah. But it's like it's not like critical to the story. Critical to the story is like the dildo, Charlotte Rampling seeing Jesus, you know, Jesus being like a super hot guy, lesbian relationship, Charlotte Rampling committing suicide, and the plague coming into the city.
Yep.
So I think that I will remember it. Is there anything artistic about it?
I think it's beautifully shot. I think the performances are remarkable. I think the script it's like you said, there's no fat. Like it's chock full of things to think about. Yeah, there's a lot that's artistic about it. The fantasy scenes when Jesus is Benedetta's boyfriend, those are like fantastic.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like pretty aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. I agree. I think that is like just beautifully shot, you know, and I think that the script and the acting is decent for what it's trying to do. Yeah. Is it a timeless piece?
I would argue yes. I mean, whether or not you think it's great, if we were to watch this 25 years in the future, I feel like I would probably have the same reaction.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think there is nothing that is stuck into right now. You know, it doesn't try to convey like anything that people are going to relate in a different way 100 years in the future.
Yep. No. There's no like, it's not trying to tackle any like trendy or current subjects at all.
Yeah. That there wouldn't be anything bad if it was trying. But would you turn this into a TV show?
Absolutely not. This is 2.5 hours is plenty to tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it doesn't overstay its welcome, but let's say that there was no reason for stressing it a single minute more.
I feel like if they turned it into a TV show, it would be like as if Showtime did Downton Abbey.
Why? Because Showtime usually like spice things up with a lot of sex?
Yeah, they have a ton of sex, and they would have to put it in a convent, and they would have to have more like sexual encounters and romantic interests. And
okay, no, that's fair.
So...
Yeah. Do you think this movie could have been better?
I can't point to a specific thing, so I would say no.
That's an interesting question, because the thing is like you cannot remove the dildo. You can't.
No, it's important.
Yeah, it's part of the story. So I had the feeling that it's like what they were trying, the story that they were trying to tell, is that without doing like very drastic changes, is that there is no point of changing anything. That this is what it is. For better or worse, it's what it is.
It's like taking the rape scene out of Irreversible.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the core of the whole movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like everything hinges on this thing.
Well, but the thing is like in Irreversible, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, I can check the notes, let me just see, but it's like, I would have changed that scene and not making it last 8 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and we both said that yes, we would change something, and I'm pretty sure that it was the rape scene that is like, yeah, after the 3-minute mark, it was clear what was going on, which just says, you know, stop there. So should we score it?
We should, and this is my pick, so you have to go first.
So my score is going to be let me just check. Sorry, I'm going to be like just cheating. My score is going to be a 7.
My score is an 8.5.
So you're scoring this as much as Ed would.
100%, yeah.
Okay.
I would rewatch Benedetta again before I rewatch that one.
Wow.
I'm not saying I wouldn't rewatch both. I'm just saying if you came over in 3 weeks and were like, hey, should we watch Ed Wood or Benedetta? I would be like, Benedetta.
I would never say that. You know that those words are never going to be coming out of my mouth. No, I mean, I think that is good. But the aftertaste that it left me, I was thinking it to be deeper. And that's the problem that I have with Verhoeven, that I had the feeling that how he uses sex, for me, it cheapens the result. It's not that I feel shocked or anything. I just feel it's like, I think that you're using it for just provoking. You know, and as a European, for me, this is like, you don't need to provoke me with this, you know.
I don't want to drag on this conversation too long, but do you feel somehow like Paul Verhoeven using sex as a tool of provocation is cheaper than Haneke using violence to provoke us? Because for me, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, obviously, Hollow Man is not Funny Games, but I feel like Benedetta like elevated Verhoeven.
No, I don't think so. No. I think that it's cheaper. It's cheaper how he does it. You know, because the thing is like the violence or the kind of internal anger that all the characters have in Haneke movies is visceral. It's just like a...
But they're just both using one thing to provoke. I'll admit that Haneke films have a depth that Verhoeven's don't, but you just called out that using sex to provoke is cheapest thing.
Look. Okay, that's an amazing perspective. I agree with you, you know. But the thing is, like, I think that Haneke uses violence for just conveying higher topics. And I think that Verhoeven just using it for provoking. It's almost like just Gaspar Noé.
So it's not that you object to using sex to provoke, it's that there is nothing
deeper behind it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a bit more about like, okay, you're just using it just for shock value. Because that's what I got from the turning that wooden virgin. Because they could have taken like, I don't know, like a chair. But it's like, no, you're going to fucking take a Virgin Mary. It's like, it's just so wrong in itself. And it's like the only reason.
I thought they were going to use a cross. I mean, it just makes so much sense.
Just like with 2 hands. Okay, that would have been bad too.
Probably made out of metal, which seems a lot safer than something made out of wood, but whatever.
Yeah, but probably metal is harder to actually manipulate for just turning it into a dildo, you know,
right.
In a discreet kind of way, you know. Probably your average knife is not going to be able to do that. I'm saying you could
probably find an existing metal cross somewhere in that convent.
Okay. With a dick shape. But no, that is a really good question, but I always feel like there is more. It's like I think that Haneke wants to talk about humanity as a whole, you know, about like the human race, about like what is our inheritance, sort of like our basic qualities as humans. Paul Verhoeven just wants to troll me. And it's like, it's similar to Gaspar Noé. It's like, I think that he's an amazing auteur, but it's like those 8 minutes of rape in Irreversible, or in the gay club when he actually destroys the head, is that you are using...
I would change about that film. That scene was awful.
Yeah, it's like, is there something else more than actually producing like a repulsion on the audience? No, there's not.
Yeah, no, I see your point.
Yeah, so, but it's an amazing point. It was like an amazing question, you know. I didn't think about it even. I talk like a provocateur, and I know that Haneke is a bit of a provocateur. I think that he doesn't stop as a provocateur, You know, I think that Gaspar Noé is a provocateur. I think that Lars von Trier is a bit of a provocateur and a troll and a sadistic director.
There's something inside me that rejects you calling Paul Verhoeven, just in the context of Benedetta, a troll, but I think you're probably right. It's just a beautiful trolling, in my opinion. So
Okay.
you're right.
Not...
He was trolling. He was. I just don't want to admit it.
No. I mean, he can be a beautiful troll. You know, he can be artistically pleasing troll. You know, love is artistically pleasing.
Yes, it is.
But it doesn't stop. Or climax is artistically pleasing, but it doesn't.
For like 20 minutes, and then it's pure hell.
Yep. Well, but even like with that hell, I think that is artistically pleasing. It's not pleasant to watch, but that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's true. It's not beautiful. It's artistic. I get it. Yep.
Yeah. So I just think that Verhoeven could be a better director than he is if he actually just dropped the cheap shot that is using sex for shock value.
I don't disagree with you, but I would feel a personal loss if we didn't have Paul Verhoeven as he is now. I'm sorry. I enjoy his particular niche. I want to see more Paul Verhoeven films.
Okay, let's just watch Basic Instinct, you know, because this is basically another like sexual psycho thriller, almost, you know.
I'm down. I think it's on our to be watched list.
Oh, it is? Yeah, maybe I actually, when we watched L, I told you that then you should watch Basic Instinct. But yeah, I don't regret watching it. It's like I had a good time, and as I told you, it's like this. Of course, is this like more interesting than the average movie that you're going to be like watching in the cinema nowadays. You know, I wish that there were like more movies than this. That is like I just live like move in some kind of direction.
I have to say I'm very proud of my local AMC for just playing this film. I did not have to go to Landmark. Not that I love going to Landmark, but I'm proud that this was playing in a mainstream cinema. So good for you, AMC San Francisco.
Yeah, no, they were playing it everywhere. I went to we went to the Music Box Theater. That is like similar to the Castro. It's like a 1920s cinema here.
Got it.
So they usually have like on the biggest screen like pretty cool stuff, and on the smallest screen is like random things, you know. Cool. And anything else to say about Benedetta?
I don't think so.
All right. So for next week, as is my pick, last week when we talked about Ed Wood, I was thinking about like, okay, take a director and just make him direct something that is slightly different from everything else that he has done, and then result is good. You know, that it was like the case with Ed Wood and Tim Burton. So I wanted you to watch one of my favorite Woody Allen movies, that is Bullets Over Broadway with John Cusack.
Let's do it. Looking forward to it.
Okay, and to all of those people that they have the patience to just put up with us, you know, like, and probably staying away from religious images, unless that's your thing. There is no judgment. I'm not the one to judge. Anything that we have to tell them?
I would just urge you to watch Benedetta. That's it.
That's fair. That's fair. Do they have to do anything else?
And wash their hands.
Okay.
Wearing those masks. Omicron's no joke.
Yeah. Wash your hands, because you never know what you're going to be like doing with those hands. You know, it's like maybe you have to just pretend that they are like a wooden Virgin Mary. If you know what I mean. Okay, bye.